If you've ever had somebody sat in front of you, nodding along, asking questions, and seemingly really, really interested, then right at the very last minute they say, I just need to have a think about it. And this one is for you, because that phrase can be so frustrating. Not because people are not allowed to go and have a think, because of course they are. They're not buying a lip gloss at the till. But when you've spent time explaining everything, colour matching, talking through methods, prices, maintenance, aftercare, and then they leave with, I'll just have a think. It can feel a little bit like the whole consultation has just slipped through your fingers. And then comes the overthinking. Did I say too much? Did I scare them with the price? Should I have offered a discount? Should I message them again? Am I being annoying? Should I just leave it? And before you know it, you're mentally replaying a consultation like it's CCTV footage from a crime scene. So in this masterclass, we're going to break down what I need to think about it usually actually means. Because most of the time, it does not simply mean I need more time. It usually means there's something unresolved, something unclear, something they haven't fully trusted yet. And once you understand that, you can respond calmly, confidently and professionally. Not pushy, not needy, and not desperate. Just clear. The aim is not to pressure people into booking. That is not premium. The aim is to understand really what's going on so you can guide the right clients properly and stop losing warm inquiries through silence, panic, or weak responses. This is where your objection handling script pack comes in. Because when someone says something vague like, I need to think about it, it's very easy to freeze. The script pack gives you words to use when your mind goes blank and your inner people pleaser is preparing to throw in a free refit, a free aftercare kit and possibly your firstborn. We are not doing that. We are going to handle it properly. The first thing to understand is this. I need to think about it is often not the real objection. This is the polite sentence that people use when they do not know how to explain what's making them hesitate. Sometimes they don't even fully know themselves. A client might say, I need to think about it. But what they really mean is, I'm worried I'll spend all this money and it won't look how I imagined. Or, I don't fully understand why this costs more than the other person that I messaged. Or, I want it, but I feel guilty spending that much money on myself. Or, I need to ask my partner because this is a lot of money. Or, I'm overwhelmed and I can't make a decision right now. Or, I like you, but I'm still comparing. All of those are different problems and they need different responses. This is why a generic reply like, no problem, just let me know, just does not really help. It is polite, but it does nothing to move the person through that hesitation. It leaves all the uncertainty sitting exactly where it was. Now, there is a time and a place to give people space. You should never chase someone so hard they feel cornered. But there is a big difference between giving someone space and abandoning the inquiry completely. Premium selling is not pushing, it is guiding. And if a client has shown interest, asked questions, had a consultation, or nearly booked, you have a responsibility to guide that properly. So let's go through the framework. The framework is pause, interpret, clarify, reassure, and guide. Simple enough to remember, strong enough to use in real conversations. Step 1, pause. The first step is pause. It sounds basic, but it matters. When someone says, I need to think about it, your nervous system can treat it like rejection. And if you're not careful, you react from that place. You might rush in with, I can do it a bit cheaper, or I've got a space next week if you want it, or honestly, it'll look amazing. Or you start explaining everything again from the beginning. The poor woman only asked for a minute to think, and now she's getting the audiobook version of your consultation. Pause first. Do not panic fill the silence and do not immediately discount or over-explain. A calm response could look like, of course, that's absolutely fine. It is a considered decision. That one sentence does two things. It keeps the tone professional and it shows you are not desperate. That matters, because if you suddenly become frantic the second somebody hesitates, it can make them feel less confident in you. Premium confidence is calm, so the first step is to pause, regulate yourself before you respond. In the script packs, this is where you'll see the calm acknowledgement lines. These are the phrases that you can use before you do anything else. Things like, of course it's completely normal to want to think it through. Or, absolutely important that you feel comfortable before booking. That gives you breathing space and it keeps the conversation open. Step 2. Interpret. Once you've paused, the next step is to interpret. This does not mean making wild assumptions. It means paying attention to what the hesitation likely connected to. Not every "I need to think about it" means the same thing. You need to ask yourself, what happened just before they said it? Did they say it after you gave them the price? Then it may be a price discomfort. Did they say it after you explained maintenance? Then it may be worry about the upkeep. Did they say it after you showed them the amount of hair needed? Then it may be overwhelm. Did they keep mentioning another stylist or brand? Then it may be comparison. Did they ask whether the hair will damage their own hair? Then it may be fear. Did they seem excited until you mentioned aftercare, refits, maintenance and ongoing costs? Then it may be commitment shock. This is where you stop treating objections as random and start reading the pattern. A lot of stylists lose bookings because they answer the wrong concern. For example, if the real issue is trust, a discount is not going to fix it. If the real issue is maintenance, showing more before and after photos won't fix that. If the real issue is fear of damage, saying I can fit you in next Tuesday, again, not going to fix it. You have to understand what hesitation you're actually dealing with. So in your head, you can use these 5 common categories: trust, price, overwhelm, fear, and comparison. Trust sounds like, how do I know that this is going to be right for me? Price sounds like, is this going to be worth the money? Overwhelm sounds like, there is too much process. Fear sounds like, what if this goes wrong? And comparison sounds like, I'm looking at other options. When you know which one is probably showing up, your response becomes much clearer. Step 3, clarify. So the next step is clarifying, and this is where people go wrong. They either say nothing or they start persuading. Clarifying is not persuading. Clarifying is gently finding out what's really causing the pause. You are not interrogating them. You are not saying, why, what's wrong, is it the price? That feels defensive. Instead, use softer, more helpful language. For example, of course, can I ask if there's anything that you're unsure about so that I can explain before you go away and think it over? That's a strong line. It's calm, it gives permission, and it does not pressurize. Or, absolutely. Is it more the price, the method, the maintenance, or just making sure it's the right decision for you? This is useful because it gives them options. Sometimes people don't know how to explain what they're unsure about until you give them the words. You can also say that's completely fine. Before you decide, I'd rather make sure you feel clear. What part are you still weighing up? That's premium. You're not chasing, you're guiding. And if they say it's mainly the price, then great. Now you know. If they say I'm just worried it might damage my hair, again, great. Now you know. If they say I just need to speak to my partner, great. Now you know. Each one needs a different response. And this is where your objection handling script pack becomes really useful. Instead of having one generic reply, you should have scripts for every type of hesitation. One for price, maintenance, fear of damage, partner approval, and one for comparison and overwhelm. That way, you're not trying to think of the perfect answer while standing there with a ring light in one hand, a colour ring in the other, and a client looking straight at you. Step 4, reassurance. Once you know what's making them hesitate, the next step is to reassure them. and this has to be specific. Generic reassurance will not work very well. If somebody is worried about spending £600, saying don't worry, it'll be amazing is not enough. If someone's worried about damage, saying you'll be fine is not enough. If someone's overwhelmed, saying it's totally up to you is polite, but it does not guide them. Specific reassurances sound more like this. If the issue is price, I completely understand it is an investment. The reason I've recommended this option is because it gives you the best balance of results, maintenance and longevity for what you want. I'd rather recommend the right amount properly than underfit the hair and have you disappointed in a few weeks. That explains the value without apologising for the price. If the issue is maintenance, then try, that makes sense. The maintenance is really important. The good news is I'll talk you through exactly what you need to do and I'll give you clear aftercare guidance so it doesn't feel confusing once you leave. If the issue is fear of damage, we can say, that's a fair concern. Extensions should never be treated as something you just fit and forget. The right method, correct fitting, proper maintenance and aftercare all matter. That's exactly why I ask these questions before recommending anything. If the issue is comparison, try saying, of course, it's sensible to compare. Just make sure you're comparing the full picture and not just the starting price. Things like hair quality, amount of hair, fitting method, aftercare advice, maintenance and support after the appointment, as they all make a difference. Notice the pattern. You're not begging, you are not discounting, and you are not trying to win the booking at any cost. You're helping them understand the decision properly. That's what premium clients respond to. Step 5, guide. The final step is guidance, and this is where you're going to give them a clear next step. Because one of the biggest reasons that warm leads disappear is the conversation ends too vaguely. The client says, I'll think about it. The stylist says, no worries, let me know. And then nothing happens. No next step, no time frame, no clarity and no gentle structure. The inquiry just floats off into the same place as all those missing hair grips and that one tint brush that no one can ever find. Instead, guide the next step. For example, of course, why don't you take tonight to think it over? I'll send you a quick summary of what we've discussed, including the method, price, maintenance and what I recommend. Then if you'd like to go ahead, I can hold this appointment until tomorrow evening. That's clear, it gives space, it creates a time frame and it keeps control. Another option, no pressure at all, I'll send you the details so you're not trying to remember everything. If any questions come up, just message me. If you decide it feels right, the next step would be a deposit and booking confirmation. Again, clear, not pushy. Or take a little time to think. I'd rather you feel comfortable than rushed. Let's send everything over in one message so you've got it clearly. This is exactly the kind of wording you want in your script pack. Because when you're busy, tired and caught off guard, it's easy to default to weak language. Having the script ready protects you from that. Now let's talk about how to use the downloadable asset. This masterclass works best with the objection handling script pack because the whole issue here is not just understanding hesitation, it's knowing what to say in the moment. Your script pack should have 5 sections. Section 1, the calm acknowledgement scripts. These are your first replies. Things like, of course, it's completely normal to want to think it through. Section 2 is the clarification scripts. These help you uncover the real issue. Things like, is there a particular part that you're unsure about, or is it more about wanting to process everything? Section 3, reassurance scripts. These are split by objection type, price, maintenance, damage, partner approval, comparison, and overwhelm. Section 4, the guide to next step scripts. These stop the conversation going vague. And section 5 are the follow-up scripts. These are 24 or 48 hours later. and the one final close the loop message. So let's go through the mistakes quickly, because these are the ones that start to lose trust. Mistake number 1, discounting too quickly. If somebody hesitates and you instantly lower the price, you teach them that your first price was not really your price. That damages trust. Mistake 2, over-explaining. When you panic and start talking too much, the more you talk, the more overwhelmed they feel. Clarity sells better than information overload. Mistake 3, sounding disappointed. If your tone shifts when they don't book immediately, they will feel it. Stay calm. Mistake 4, ending too passively. No worries, let me know. It's polite, but it's weak. Give a clear next step. Mistake 5, taking it personally. Hesitation is not always rejection. Sometimes it's just an unresolved concern. So to make this practical, next time someone says, I need to think about it, do this. First pause, do not rush, and then say, of course, it's completely normal to want to think it through. Then clarify. Can I ask if there's anything specific you're unsure about, or is it more that you just need some more time to process? Then listen. If they say price, respond to price. If they say maintenance, respond to maintenance. If they say fear of damage, respond to fear. And then guiding with a message such as, I'll send you a clear summary of what we've discussed so you've got everything in one place. If it feels right, next step is a deposit and the appointment. That is it. Calm, professional, clear, no panic, no begging, and no random discount. No essay, and if they still need time, that is fine. You've done your job properly. The goal is to stop losing the right clients because you didn't know how to handle the hesitation. So if you remember one thing from this masterclass, let it be this. I need to think about it is not a dead end. It's usually the signal that something still feels unresolved. A concern, a hesitation, a missing piece of certainty. And when you learn how to calmly uncover what that actually is, objections become far less intimidating. Because most of the time, the problem is not that the client is saying no. It's that the real concern was never properly identified. That is exactly why the objection handling script pack exists. So next time this happens, instead of freezing or second guessing yourself, you'll have a clear way to respond professionally and confidently. I really hope you found this masterclass useful, and more importantly, I hope it helps you move through these conversations with far more confidence and far less stress moving forward. So if you did find it helpful, I'd genuinely love to know. And if there's a business topic you'd love us to cover on a future Roots masterclass, let us know that too. Because if you're struggling with something in your business, the chances are plenty of other people are too. And that's exactly what masterclass is here for. To help you build a stronger, more profitable and less stressful business. I'll see you in the next one.